Went off. My mic went off while I was trying to explain the situation with China. So, and outside was kind of loud. So, it's only right. I just walked into the barbershop. You know, it's closing hours, but I just walked in there in order to get this over with. Right? Let me share again. H bar. There's nothing else that matters right now. It's H bar. As a matter of fact, let me scroll it up. Let me H bar. H bar is at still at 40. H bar is still at 40. And we're still hopeful because we understand technology. We understand cryptocurrency. We understand what we betted on. So the thing that we betted on, we understand the essence of it and what it brings to the table. So now you can't sell me a toothpaste just saying that this is better than Crest. But I don't even care about Crest. Right? If you told me that this is naturally made and it whitens all your teeth and and he came from the Congo, deep in the Congo jungle. They discovered something, and I knew that for a fact that he came from the Congo, and they actually discovered that, and it's better for you. And this, and listen, I can bet my life on it, but for now, I'm only betting money on H bar. All my money is bet on H bar. My girl asked me for money. I told her, listen, it's not happening. H bar, nothing else. My other friend asked me for money. I said, my brother, I love you. I don't have it like that. H bar. My dad asked me for money. I said, Pops, I love you. But it's H bar for me. His reply was, my son, you don't respect your parents. Whenever it's a no, I don't respect my parents. Whenever it's a yes, it's God bless you to the moon. All right. Enough said. Let's analyze China. Let me share the screen. Alright, 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 alright. Let me share the screen. I didn't want to be here because over here people just be staring at me heavy. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, you do have a few YouTubers in China. Some of them been there over 20 years. Some of them been there 7 years, 10 years. You can consider them locals in a different country, but China don't have those type of rules. As a matter of fact, if you were to move to China, you would have to give up your I mean, if you wanted to be a part of China, you would have to give up your citizenship in order to be fully a part of China. And that's what China has been doing with a lot of its talent. Let me say, talents that may have Canadian citizenship and things of that nature, but because they working in China and they're doing business with China and the business is very lucrative in China, so it's only right for them to bring the ultimatum of saying, listen, you pick them or you pick us because we got more for you, but we can't really give you all that we got, and you got your foot over there. Nothing stops you from going to visit over there, but you should be a part of us, claiming you back. That's what China does for its people. It's claiming you, right? And fair enough. I'm not going to lie to you, people. That's one of the things that I've noticed is that any Chinese anywhere in the world, there could be an architect in New York. There could be an engineer in Fort McMurray in Canada. There could be somewhere in Australia doing well. But that same opportunity that they have over there, they can actually have it here at home. So whenever they come back, let's say over there, something happens, a mishap, or just a dissatisfaction wherever they are, and they decided to migrate. Let me say that, to migrate back to China, even if they never set foot to China in China, but they're migrating back over here, they feel at home. Me as a black man, I don't feel at home anywhere, right? Because if I was to fly back to Canada, my man, it's nothing but jokes. Like, yeah, I'll spend 2 3 months. We will have jokes. But eventually I'll get tired. And as a matter of fact, when you check, if you knew me, you know that I'm a type of person that never actually live in the city more than a one. 365 days is too long for me to straight to stay in one city. No, that's not me. I'll have to ventilate. I'll have to go to a different city for a weekend. I'll have to go somewhere else, and then come back again refreshed, and then I can take it in. But just staying in one city 365 days without moving, it's not in my DNA. But I'm saying that to say that the Chinese, when they come back, believe me, they have the same opportunities that they left wherever they stemming from. If they were in New York in the financial industry, they come in here and do the same, and the opportunity will just be more attractive to them. And you feel at home, like you really feel at home for them, not for me. But even if I was to go home, I don't feel at home. And people at home, they don't feel attached with Africa. So then, if I was to go to Africa, I wouldn't even. You understand what I'm saying to you? Like you wouldn't. There's the opportunities elsewhere are better than, let's say, I don't want to say Africa because Africa is doing good right now, but let me just say the same opportunities I may have somewhere else might be better than home, the opportunities that I have home. But for the Chinese, it's the other way around. Wherever you went, whatever you've learned, you can come and practice it here. If you were a lawyer over there, you come here. They got criminals here too. They got businesses here too. They need lawyers, commercial lawyers, criminal lawyers, whatever lawyers. There's an opportunity here for you if you're Chinese. Like you will feel at home. Again, I'm repeating. But let's hear what my man was saying about China. He's been living in China 10 years. Is one of the YouTubers that I've been listening to all the time. Is my mic on? My mic is on. My mic is on. Okay, let me stop talking and then share the screen. Let's do this. My man been living in China for 10 years. He married a Chinese, and then he dipped to the United States with the Chinese girl, and now he spends his time talking about China in a negative way, but that is justified by the fact that he is married to a Chinese. So that gives him the right to talk against a people. But if you ask me, I always thought a lot of time when we're attracted to someone, it's our sexual deviancy that leads us to even follow that person's culture to go all the way there. If I like Issa Akira because I love porn, so I'm attracted to Asian porn, and wherever I can then satisfy my sexual need, first and foremost, all the other reasons that people tell you about, oh, I went to China, no. You're attracted to Asian women, and it's specifically the one that looks like one of the porn star that you've been looking at, and then you went over there, you managed to get a girl from that culture to satisfy your personal needs, meaning that love or that relationship or that just the sexual need that you have. And at which point that gives you the right then to talk about the culture, like the rest of the culture. Doesn't mean because the girl that you with agrees with you and you agree with her, or she tells you things that you agree with, or you guys have this tandem, like this combination, or this Adam and Eve kind of thing going on. You guys have that, but that doesn't mean that you can then turn and talk against the whole culture, and then you justify you saying that by the fact that, oh no, I don't hate these people because look, I'm married to one of them, so therefore I'm allowed to say that this is wrong, this is not, this is right, this is wrong. I mean, if it's factual, it's factual. You can say it out loud or you can say it in the bedroom. But let's hear what my man has to say about how we can fight the Communist Party. This is what it's called. It's called how we can fight the Communist Party. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Let me mute something. Let me mute something. Man, what's going on, man? What is this here? What is this here? Skip that.
It's time to fight back against the Communist Party of China, and I have some solutions.
Listen, pay in mind. Pay in mind. Keep in mind that my man said he has solutions on how we can fight the Communist Party. And when he describes the Communist Party, to me, at the end of the day, all he's describing is China. So basically, how we can fight the country China. So everybody against China. And he has a solution on how we can fight against China. Let's hear it.
What good is it pointing out the problems with the Communist Party of China and the dangers of the Communist Party of China and the dangers of what China is doing to the world right now if I can't offer some solutions in return? Because there's no point moaning about something all the time or complaining about something unless you have a way to fix it or change it. Of course, there is a lot of merit to talking about the missteps and the bad policies and the bad things that are going on in China because it raises awareness. And by raising awareness, hopefully the right person sees that and starts to take action. Or your eyes get opened up and you start to realize, hang on a second, something's been happening, something sinister has been happening under my nose this entire time. So of course there's a benefit to it, but I am here to offer you some solutions today. A lot of people don't realize just how much they are contributing to the success of the Communist Party of China. Now, there's nothing wrong with contributing to the success of the people of China. I love the people of China. I'm married to a Chinese person. I have Chinese family. I want nothing but the best for the people of China.
Okay, pay in mind, keep in mind that my man, he is married to a Chinese. He has Chinese friends. He created a, friends of family. So he has family, right? He has a circle in China, but he left China. He's in the United States. He brought the girl with him, right? And while he was in China, this is not the first wife that he has as well, right? He had a wife from Hong Kong, divorced after 3 months, and then so later on, found another girl, another woman, a doctor, mind you, right? Someone that has credentials, and trying to do the Mark Zuckerberg thing, right? And then so now you have a Chinese wife, and then but you don't stay in China with this wife. You move to America, somewhere where, for whatever reason, freedom, and you can do much more maybe in America. So you're in America. So now that you're in America, stemming from South Africa, in China 10 years, married to a Hong Kong woman, divorced right away, right? But now because you remarried a Chinese woman, so now, we're listening, we're taking in the information, and the information leads us to now find a way to fight the Communist Party. Okay, let's hear it. And again, I'm still wondering, okay, if I married someone within the culture, let's say I like Brazilians because I watch Brazilian porn, right? Because I watch Brazilian porn, I like Brazilians. So now I find a Brazilian woman, but at which point am I there to start claiming to know everything about Brazil because I have a Brazilian woman? Therefore, I will use that as saying, listen, I have nothing against the Brazilians. My wife is Brazilian. So therefore, what I'm saying about how this is, the beach is the way the beach look, and I don't like how the beach look. The beach, this, whatever's in there that's damaging our health, and that's what's going on in Sao Paulo. But I have nothing against the Brazilian people. Look, I'm married to one. But my thing is, the fact that you marry someone don't necessarily have anything to do with the rest of the culture. You marry that person because you're attracted to that person based on your sexual fantasy, because you don't marry someone and not have sex with the person. Unless we were marrying somebody and not have sex with the person and we just wanted to be involved with the culture, then we should not use that ideology or that idea of, oh, look, I'm married to one, so therefore even if I'm speaking bad against them, it don't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that I hate them. It's because I'm married to one of them, so therefore I cannot be someone that hates. No, even people that are of that culture hate that culture. So, you being an outsider and putting your 2 cents in a situation like that, but the reason shouldn't be, look, I'm married to a Chinese woman, so therefore I can say all that because this is the second Chinese woman. It's not the first one. What happened with the first one? What happened with the first one? At that point, did did that instant then build this whole idea of hating Chinese, but then it's still camouflaged by the desire of still having a Chinese woman. And by the way, I give you a credit for, well, let's give my man a credit for choosing a Chinese from mainland as opposed to the one from Hong Kong where I am. I That's just my personal opinion, right? Because I'm thinking that over there maybe it might be pure. I'm thinking, but I might be wrong though. I might be wrong because I'm just trying to understand, if you were married to a Chinese woman from Hong Kong and you divorced after 3 months, you divorced, right? So obviously things are not working out, and we already understand how relationships work. There's a lot of dispute after that. So you would hate a culture just for that. It could happen. Okay, if you don't hate a culture for that, and that's proven by the fact that you still went on to get a Chinese woman, but this time you moved to the mainland, so you got one from the mainland, and we already understand how they see themselves different. And this is where I'm saying that congratulations for picking one from the mainland as opposed to the one over here. Why am I saying that? Because the one over here is the one that divorced you, or you divorced her after 3 months, and then you recuperated, healed your heart, and gave your heart to another Chinese woman, but this time on the mainland. And then you took her. Now you guys are in America. No problem. But let's hear what's going on. How can we fight China?
But unfortunately, what we're seeing is we're seeing a growing power within the Communist Party of China. And the Communist Party of China is a threat to the entire world. I'm not fear mongering here, I'm telling the truth. The Communist Party of China is a threat to the very freedoms that you have enjoyed up until this point in life, or perhaps the very freedoms you've been seeking up until this point in life. Just take a look around you. Have you noticed how our entertainment industry has been changed by the Communist Party of China? How films have to change their narratives to suit their needs? How sports have to be silent about human rights atrocities, sports stars, and then you mention anything about Tibet or Xinjiang or anything like that, and you get shut down, and you're
Now, it is true, like I was trying to express earlier, that I've seen in the newspaper. I don't know how truthful that is, but two actors, um, you know, two Canadian actors, they now work and live in China, but I guess their career, was gonna catapult even more in China, and so one of the ultimatum that they had in front of them is to change their citizenship, meaning to denounce the Canadian citizenship and to take on the Chinese one, because then for opportunity purposes, and also because China feels like, hey, if we're giving you all this more than they're giving you, but you are one of us, would you then please just take our identity and let that one go? Hey, that's by choice. I don't think they're being forced into it, but the condition was just it's been forced, but at the end of the day, you still have the option. It's just that you may not be a great actor back home in Canada. You may not be that great of a Chinese actor in Canada, but the opportunities here are better. And you have to look at it like, do I want to go back and ski again? Do I want to go and ski doos and you know eat maple syrup in minus 55? Like, you have to assess all that, and And if the snow is not really something that you're missing, ice skating outside, minus 25, if that's not what you're into, you're not a child no more. Because some of the things that you used to enjoy as a kid, as an adult in Canada, you don't enjoy it no more. So if those are the only thing that was enjoyable in Canada, then okay, well, here's my citizenship. Give me my Chinese citizenship. I could always fly to Canada, if especially if they have family back in Canada as well. So now it's just a change of identity, right? So the change of identity leads to China to be satisfied that he has its people back, and the people involved, they are happy because they are great entertainers in China and getting, well, it's profit, gain more profit in China than they would have anywhere else in the world. So I don't see why not. If I'm Chinese, I would. I don't know why I wouldn't.
NBA or whoever it is that you play for will kick you out or silence you or make you apologize to China. It's really shaping the narrative of free speech around the world. Heck, look at the COVID situation right now. This is something that came about because of the Communist Party of China and the way it dealt with the pandemic in the early days, allowing it to spread without giving warning to the rest of the world when it very well knew that it had human to human transmission. They told everyone it didn't when they knew it did. They blocked people from traveling domestically in and out of Wuhan. They locked it down, but they allowed people to travel internationally, and the virus spread from China. So all the restrictions, all the jobs lost, all the lives lost up until now can be squarely pointed at the Communist Party of China. Make no mistake, their missteps led to the current situation. There are many aspects around the world, climate change, because of the huge amount of carbon that CO2 that China is pumping out into the atmosphere. The fact that they keep increasing their carbon emissions year upon year rather than reducing them like the rest of the world. The fact that the environment and the seas are being outfished is affecting you and will affect you in many ways. The fact that real estate around the world has been ramped up to extremes because of corrupt Chinese officials investing all their money and funneling all their money out of China into Canada, the United States, Australia, etc. The fact that our universities kowtow to the Communist Party of China. The fact that you've got Confucius Institutes and other Chinese communist propaganda departments operating from within our universities, not only to the detriment of the Chinese students studying there, but of course to the detriment of all students studying. Look, there's a lot that the Communist Party of China has been doing. And one of the biggest, most worrying factors is they've been taking investment money from things like pension funds and using that money to develop their military. Your pension fund very possibly has contributed to building missiles and other military technology which has armed the Communist Party of China, made it stronger, and made it this terrible belligerent bully, building all these false islands in the South China Sea, claiming land that doesn't belong to them, expanding everywhere, doing all this expansionism, this neo-colonialism into Africa, all sorts of things. Look, the Communist Party of China has affected every single person, whether you think they have or not.
Do you want to make $1,000 today and then $1,000 a day?
Whoa, whoa,
Every
whoa,
day?
whoa. Let me
You will
skip
only
that.
need
Let me
5
skip
minutes,
this.
and my
Let me
team
skip
will do
this.
the
Let me
rest for
skip
you.
this. Let me
Yeah,
skip
you
this.
heard me right. In less than 20.
And you're helping them.
Okay, okay. Let me pause that. Let me pause that and remind people what this my man just said. My man said China is doing something to the whole world, whether you think it's doing it or not. Whether you think it's doing it or not, whether you have an opinion that yes, China is doing that, whether you have an opinion like no, China is not doing that. My man said, oh man, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened, but I got cut off. So I'm just gonna shut up and let my man talk, and then I'll say my 2 cents after. What I'm saying, the censorship over here, it's for real. Like it's not something to joke about too much. It's really, it is what it is. You know, it's really what it is. It is what it is, and it's really
Are
something
helping
to
them either through
recognize.
ignorance, which of course you can't blame people for not realizing it, or
Okay, so let me just sum up real quick. So my man is talking about how China is in an advanced position, and we must stop it. And then he's gonna come up with solutions, and I'm here to just kind of look into those solutions and say, okay, that's the good solution if we actually wanted to stop China from advancing. Like it's a race, like Dr. Claude Anderson said. This is a race. That's what racism is. It's a bunch of racists racing to the finish line. So whoever comes first to the finish line wins. China is one of the racists. Black people are one of the a set of racists. So is white people. So is other people's. So you got 10 racists in line trying to chase to the finish line, and now we are aware that China is ahead of everybody. And here's my man representing the white community of let's say South Africa. Right now, is an American, I guess. So he's representing the white races and telling you that we must stop the other racist, the Chinese. Let's hear it.
through kind of a willful dismissal of what's really going on. The problem is, it's getting to a point now where it's very hard to ignore what the Communist Party of China is doing to the world and to our way of life. So here are some solutions for you. You as an individual might not think that you really have much recourse when it comes to the Communist Party of China, but you support them more than you know, and you support them through your hard-earned money. Okay? Think about it. How does that work? Well, every single
What's going on? What's going on?
time you invest in a Chinese company, every single time you buy a Chinese product on Amazon or in the shop, that money goes back to China. It goes back to a Chinese company, which in turn goes back to the Chinese economy, which in turn goes to the CCP. Remember, the CCP controls all companies in China. They have to kowtow to the Communist Party of China. The Communist Party of China also plays very unfairly. They make it so that the products made in China will be cheaper no matter what than your locally produced product. So they force out jobs. They force out manufacturing from different countries. And the way they do this is through a lot of sleight of hand and a lot of tricks, the foremost of which being that they claim to be a developing country. Now, yeah, I mean, I've traveled all around China by motorcycle. I've been in the most rural parts of China. I've been in the flashiest parts of China. And I would classify China as a developing country as soon as you leave the cities. Hey, look, even in the cities themselves, you still see a lot of very backwards ways of dealing with certain things like garbage removal, things like the sewers, things like, well, just the way infrastructure is kind of dealt with. There's a lot of backwards stuff. But you hit the rural parts of China, and yes, it's a developing country. You still have a huge amount of the population that's very poor. However, what kind of a developing country? I mean, think about it. When you think of a developing country, what comes to mind? For me, it's usually something like a country in Africa or the Middle East where people are struggling to get water, where there isn't enough infrastructure built there, where, you know, they need help, they need aid, they need as much help as they can get because they are still developing. That's a developing country. China is sending probes to the moon. They are sending rovers to Mars. They have a space program. It's about time we canceled this whole idea of China being a developing country.
Okay.
Because they claim that they're a developing country, and this
Okay,
gives them
okay,
massive tax
okay,
breaks.
okay.
This gives them massively preferential
let me
trade
st-
agreements
let me
with the
stop
rest of
this
the world in the
with-
WTO.
Let me stop this.
So they don't pay taxes, they don't pay high shipping fees, they get all sorts of subsidies, the government
Suck.
subsidizes, and they cheat the system.
So come this thing keeps playing,
Why?
man.
It's cheaper, and I've said this many times, for somebody in Shenzhen, in mainland China, to send a little...
Okay. I wanna untangle some of the stuff that my man said. My man said that China shouldn't be considered a developing country, right? Because as it is now, China sees itself as a developing country. And so my man suggests that China should not be considered a developing country. And the reason being is that China has done enough. Like we've seen enough of China that we cannot consider it being a developing country. Right? China is sending probes, he says, to the moon, sending people on Mars, sending other people maybe in Saturn somewhere, right? But for me, when you ask me to really analyze what's going on, I would have to ask, like, at what point is one ready? If I was an athlete and I wanted to practice my aim, I wanted to be good with my right hand as much as I am with my left hand. If I wanted to be good with my left hand, just like my right hand, I want to be in the gym practicing, getting better, perfect my craft. Maybe a scout can come and say, listen, you're ready for the league. You're ready to go to the league, right? According to the scout standard, I'm ready to go to the league. Meaning I can make a decision the next day to go to the league and play and maybe excel there. But if I feel like I'm not ready according to my standard, I want to practice my aim. I want to be good with my right hand as good as I am with my left, vice versa. I want to be so perfect that if I go to the league, I'm a force to be reckoned with. Now, at what point does one have to force me, saying that stop everything in the gym. You must come to the league. Like you have to, right? So this is the standard that my man here is using for us to declare China not being a developing country because China is sending people to the moon. China is, is advanced in the race. So therefore, we should not consider China as a developing country. But who's to say that China itself is satisfied with where it's at, with where it is, right? Wherever where China is not satisfied. Sending people to the moon is nothing to China. Sending them to Mars to experiment there is nothing to China. What about Saturn? Maybe they want to go to Saturn. So they need more time to practice. They need more time to go to Pluto. Maybe they want to go to Pluto. Maybe we got some more pyramids over there. You know how the joke go? Why did white people go on the moon? To see if black people have more land there. That's the joke. But to get back to all seriousness, is that China probably has a higher standard for its people. Higher standard, higher goals to achieve, right? Going to the moon is nothing for China, nor is going to Saturn. So now, who's to decide that China must be declared a fully developed country when it declares itself, um, you know, developing, is still developing. That's what China said. So let's hear it again.
What kind of a developing country? I mean, think about it. When you think of a developing
勇於超越，世界至可以不斷
My man is saying when we think of a developing country, we think of Africa, somewhere in Africa, right? So then I wanted to jump in right away and say, well, is it because the country is not is not building a public toilet and doing all the little things that everybody else is doing, then we should then consider them underdeveloped and send all the money to them, send the help to them? Does that mean that they need the help, or they just don't want to do it, or they just don't want to build a public toilet for everybody, right? Because shit is a good fertilizer. Maybe they just want to shit on the ground. Who knows, right? So with that said, this brings to mind the whole idea of even giving $1 to a homeless person, to a bum. Whenever I flew back to Canada, my view of bums and people begging in front of subway has changed ever since I've been to China. But according to my man here, it's basically that we shouldn't give any money to a homeless because he's begging. And if you look at a homeless, it could be not homeless. It just could be one of those bums asking for money in front of a subway. They speak better English than I can speak. They got both arms, both legs. They can jump higher than I can jump. And some of them got long hair. Some of them got curly hair. I'm bald, right? And so it looks to me that they qualify to get a job, or even to be able to get themselves some money. They don't need to ask me. Why are they asking me? According to me, to my standard, they're okay. They're ready for work. They shouldn't waste time asking me for money. So with that said, is this the measure that we're using, the scale that we're using to measure if China is ready or not? If so be it. But is this the scale that we're using to measure everybody now? Right? You see somebody begging money on the street, you tell them, nah, I can't give you money based on the fact that you know how to speak, you know how to walk, your hands are good. You can get a job somehow. You must be qualified for something. Let me bring it back.
usually something like a country in Africa or the Middle East where people are struggling to get water, where there isn't enough infrastructure built there, where they need help, they need aid, they need as much help as they can get because they are still developing. That's a developing country. China is sending probes to the moon. They are sending rovers to Mars. They have a space program. It's about time we cancelled this whole idea of China being a developing country, because they claim that they're a developing country, and this gives them massive tax breaks. This gives them massively preferential trade agreements with the rest of the world in the WTO. So they don't pay taxes, they don't pay high shipping fees, they get all sorts of subsidies, the government also subsidizes, and they cheat the system. So that's why it's cheaper, and I've said this many times, for somebody in Shenzhen, in mainland China, to send a little widget. It doesn't matter what it is, a tiny little gadget that costs $1. Send it to your door with free shipping. I cannot send something that costs $1 to my neighbor for free shipping. Everything I send costs me money, and so they have this very unfair advantage, and they kick everyone else out of the competition. So, of course, let's move on from that. How can you combat this? Well, there's a couple
Okay,
of things.
I need to rewind this before we go
I'm
to the
gonna stop.
solution. I need to rewind this part right here, so we can understand what my man is bringing to the table.
Send it to your door with free shipping. I cannot send something that costs $1 to my neighbor for free shipping. Everything I send costs me money, and so they have this very unfair advantage, and they kick. Everything I send costs me money, and so they have this very unfair advantage. Everything I send costs me money, and so they have this very unfair advantage. So, of course, let's move on. Everything I send costs me money, and so they have this very unfair advantage. Everything I send costs me money, and so they unfair advantage, and unfair advantage, and so, of course, everything I send costs me money, and so they have this very unfair advantage, and they kick everyone else out.
Okay, let's be clear. Let's be clear. We've come to a point where we can all agree that China has an advantage against everybody. Again, let me remind you that this is a race. That's what racism is, according to Dr. Claude Anderson. Racism is a race filled with racists racing to get to the finish line. Whoever gets to the finish line first wins the race. Is the ultimate racist. China is ahead, and now my man is gonna bring us ideas on how to stop China from growing even more, from winning the race. And we still haven't decided or given the reason why we're trying to stop China. We have not given a reason why we're trying to stop China, but we just know that we must stop China from winning the race. All of us, all 10 of us. There's 10 racist people racing to the finish line, and one of them is ahead, and the 9 must agree, come to consortium, and say, listen, we must stop that one racist racing in front of everybody, and here's the solution and how we're going to do it. Even though we don't know why, we must stop him, but let's just stop him. Because in case where we stop him, somebody else will have to win, and we still haven't decided who is that person that we want to win. We want to stop one person from winning. Is it so that nobody wins? Maybe. Let's find out.
Of the competition. So, of course, let's move on from that. How can you combat this? Well, there's a couple of things. And I'm going to start with the one that probably every single person can do. Every one of you can do this. And that is when you're shopping on Amazon, to make the right choices. You see, Amazon, like any other big corporation, it's all about their bottom line. How much money can they make? How much profit can they make? So they tend to push to the top the cheapest, easiest to manufacture products. And a lot of the Amazon choice products that pop up there, or, you know, the spotlight promoted ones, etc., are usually some kind of cheap Chinese product. But because we see the Amazon logo on there, or say it's a Prime, you know, product or whatever, we tend to think it's probably pretty good and just buy it anyway. Well, that's not always the best thing to do. And also remember, Chinese sellers are very good at artificially boosting their products. They have recently closed how many fake accounts? They've got bot farms that go out there and give fake reviews, boost things to the top, take other products which are the competition of that product and downvote them and give them fake bad reviews. It's a very unscrupulous kind of a situation. Most Chinese sellers are doing something dodgy in one way or the other. And this is well documented. There've been many crackdowns. It's something you can look at. But Amazon is very clever, and they're very good at hiding where these products are manufactured or where the sellers come from. So when you're buying something on Amazon, it just looks like every other product that you're looking for. You wouldn't be able to tell if it's American made or made in Singapore or made in Taiwan or made in China or whatever. You wouldn't know. It's just, there it is. It's got the product name, might say in the description somewhere, but it's just very difficult to tell. There's a browser plugin which I'll introduce you and show you how to work near the end of the video, which can help you figure out if you're buying from China or not. I understand that it is tough. We've reached a point now where the majority of products in the world, especially smaller, cheaper little electronics, USB cables, things like that, are more or less there have been many crackdowns. It's something you can look at.
I
Buying
think
from China or not.
I think we missed it, or I just wanted to rewind it so that we know where we're going with this. So remember, China is in the race. We are trying to stop China from growing even more, right? We don't know why we're trying to stop China, but we want to stop China. So if we stop China, what other, there's many countries in this world. So if China is in the race ahead of everybody, we want to stop China. Who do we want to win? We don't know. We don't know why we're stopping China, and we don't know who we want to win. Now, my man also suggests that we are contributing into China's growth by buying things on Amazon because they're all Chinese made. But to tweak that, or to alleviate that problem, he's going to give people a plugins to find out what product is Chinese, what product is not Chinese. Okay. But we're not gonna listen to the video to that moment. But there's a way to find out on Amazon what product is Chinese, what product is not Chinese. So that's the solution that we have, right? Of not buying Chinese. So let's hear some more.
I understand that it is tough. We've reached a point now where the majority of products in the world, especially smaller, cheaper little electronics, USB cables, things like that, are more or less exclusively made in China. But you can take a look, because if the brand is an American brand or a French brand or a different kind of brand that is getting their product manufactured in China, it's still the better of two evils. Because that means the majority of the money will not be going to...
Wait, hold up. I think you guys didn't hear that.
But you can take a look, because if the brand is an American brand or a French brand or a different kind of brand that is getting their product manufactured in China, it's still the better of two evils. Because that means the majority of the money will not be going to China. But you can take a look, because if the brand is an American brand or a French brand or a different kind of brand that is getting their product manufactured in China, it's still the better of two evils. Because that means the majority of the money will not are more manufactured in China. It's still the better of two evils. Or a French brand or a different kind of brand that is getting their product manufactured in China, it's still the better of two evils. Are more or less exclusively made in China. But you can take a look, because if the brand is an American brand or a French brand or a different kind of brand that is getting their product manufactured in China, it's still the better of two evils.
Okay. Here where we fork, right? This is where we fork. This is like mind-boggling. Like this is where everything gets even more confusing, right? Again, let's remind people why we're here. We are here to stop China from growing, because apparently China is doing whatever it's doing, and we are contributing to it. And one of the ways that we're contributing to it is by buying things from China or Chinese-made stuff. And some of it, like my man explained, it's so camouflaged that we don't know if it's from China or not, right? But there's a way to figure it out, that this one was Chinese and this one is not Chinese, right? But then in that same, with that same tone and in that same sentence, we said that it's better to buy from a company who's not Chinese owned, but uses China to manufacture that which that company sells. So if a company is making toothbrushes like this one right here that we got in the shop, right? Bamboo toothbrushes, right? Can y'all see bamboo toothbrushes. See, we give out these for free. Bamboo toothbrushes. Let me even show you a better picture so you can see what he does. Like these, right? Right? So if a company makes these, see they got a brand here, right? They got a brand here. I don't. Hey, listen. I'm not showing no brand. Okay, so this is a bamboo toothbrush, right? Right? Bamboo toothbrush. If y'all can read. So this company is not Chinese, but I'm pretty sure that whatever it's inside this box, it's manufactured in China. So my main solution to stop the growth of China is to buy from this company that I had in hand, because then it's the lesser of evils. Okay, let me try to understand this. We don't want to put money in China's hand, if I'm understanding correctly. Like, we don't want to buy Chinese, right? In exchange of money. Buying something from China in exchange of money. We don't want to do that. What we want to do is it stop China from having money, right? Because China is winning the race with money. The race of money, economically, China is winning. And because it's a race, that's what racism is. Everybody involved in that race are racists. And so China being the number one racist, we want him to kind of run with us the same pace that we run in. So the solution that we have is stop buying from China, but buy from other brands who are not Chinese, but gives money to China to have their product manufactured. So basically, we need to put someone in front of us between China and us. Don't give your money directly to China. Give it to someone who will give it to China. That's the solution that we get so far on the table in order to stop China from growing. And let me remind you, we still don't know why we're stopping China from growing. And who then do we want to grow? We want China to be stopped immediately, at once, from growing economically, I suppose. We don't know why, and then we don't know who we want to win. Okay? But here's the way we can stop China from growing. Because we don't know why and we don't know who we want to win, but we just know how to stop China. But here's how we stop China: by stopping buying things from China or Chinese made stuff from Chinese company. So don't deal with Chinese company. Don't call a manufacturer yourself and get something manufactured for yourself because you pay in China. But yet, buy it from a company who's paying China to manufacture their stuff. So that's that again, we fork again. So now we fork into, don't even try to be an entrepreneur and communicating with the factory yourself and giving them money so that you can create a product like this toothbrush that I showed you. Let me show it again. This bamboo toothbrush. Don't call the manufacturer that can make this for you so that you can then market it yourself on places like Amazon and better your economic situation. Don't do that, because then you're giving too much power to China. But here what you can do is buy this from American company or European company or North American company or European company or somewhere else, but that's not China. But whose manufacturer is located in China? So my money I'm giving it to this person, so I'm not buying from China, but that person is getting the stuff made in China. So in that, mathematically, all I'm seeing maybe is that you giving less money to China. Is giving less money to China okay? Is this what we are saying? Is giving less money to China okay? And how much less is okay? Like how less is okay? Right? So half of the manufacturing price is okay, or half of the selling point price is okay? Because if I'm giving my money, okay, if I just want a toothbrush, then of course I'll buy it from somebody. But in that situation, what we're suggesting is that don't buy it directly from China. And mind you, earlier we spoken about how China has free shipping. So don't even buy it. So now it's not about being expensive, right? It's just about the same price, whatever, a dollar, let's say. So don't give a dollar to China. Don't give your dollar to China. This is the solution we came up with. Again, let me remind you what the situation is. The situation is China is ahead, and my man here on TV suggested that we must stop China from growing. Again, we don't know why we must stop China. And if we are stopping China, who do we want to grow? That we don't know either. We just want to stop China. We don't know the reason, and we don't know what we're doing it for. But we want to stop China. Okay. And here's the solution that my man brought to the table is let's not buy Chinese brand or Chinese, not even Chinese brand. Let's not buy things from China is the solution here, right? Because it's not about the brand. Because China people or whatever, they're so smart that they can camouflage the idea of branding. So you would know that this is China or not. So let's forget the idea of branding altogether. Let's just figure it out that this product is Chinese, so therefore let's not buy it. But let's buy products that let's buy products from a company who's sending money to China in order to manufacture its product. People, this one we gotta play it in the loop, right? And unless we find the reason why we stop in China, plus who do we want to win the race, and a solution how we can slow China's growth. Giving less money to China at this point, I don't, maybe I'm wrong again, but giving less to China, but give less to China and give some to the companies who are buying from China. That makes sense. That makes sense. So support a company who's buying from China. So let them be the middleman between you and China. So don't go directly to China, right? Don't deal directly with China. No, that's not good. Put someone between you and China. Oh, I get it. Maybe because they're doing quality control for you, right? Because that company will do quality control that these products are actually toothbrushes. Because otherwise, they could be not toothbrushes because the Chinese, they don't know what a toothbrush looks like or how it feels like or the quality of the toothbrush, right? Maybe they use bamboo instead of just a soft kind of plastic, right? or you didn't want bamboo, but it still gave you bamboo, so they tricked you. So we're talking about quality control. Yes, of course you need, you know, quality control. You need to make sure that wherever you buy your stuff, you gotta make sure that if you ordered a comb, it's a comb that you got, and the comb that you got is solid enough for our afro hair, for those of us that got hair, and then you know, it does the job. Like this is what I ordered. So, or are we caring because of the brand? And then when we go to the brand, we said that Chinese people are smart enough to camouflage the brand, put a brand there, write it in perfect English. It's an English brand, right? It's an American brand, a Canadian brand, an Australian brand, a Brazilian brand, or somewhere in South American brand. But it's not Chinese, right? As if they are not. There's no Chinese in Canada that can also open businesses and companies, and then just sell the brand. As if Chinese are only in China. Like it's only in China that you see Chinese. So it's only them that can sell things out of China. Oh yeah, and also European companies who are in Europe but get their stuff manufactured in China. So a Chinese person that's in Europe then cannot have a company in Europe and still manufacturing its product in China. So this is how we're going to stop the Communist Party, quote unquote, from growing China economically. Hmm. Well, it's something to ponder about, you know. And then on that note, I ain't got much to say. It's just that I'm still I'm still wondering why is it that we're trying to stop China? And if we're trying to stop China, then who are we doing it for? Like, is there another person that we want to replace the position of China? And then how can we do that if it's not about armed violence or anything like that, like war or whatnot? It's basically hurting them where it hurts the most, where the money is. Now, how are we going to do that? Is by not buying anything from China. In 2021, mind you, we're in 2021 right now, and most of the factories in China too. Well, Chinese that made money from their factories also own factories in other places. So now that brings to mind that if we're not going to buy from Chinese factories directly, and if now, in order for us to spend less with Chinese, is to buy from a company, so put someone between us and China who is buying from China, so we buy it from him, but the products that we're buying is still from China, and so therefore we still giving money to China, but through them. And then to even go like, to spread the web even wider. Now that person that we're giving money to in China, that factory is forever running. So with that money that they made, which they have a lot, they then went to Canada and buy, let's say, the oil sand. Petro Canada is over there. I mean, Petro China is over there. Petro Canada, Petro China, Petro something is over there. Who you also have Asians behind it, right? Chinese, let's say. So now those ones, then we should use those companies as well to buy anything that we want from China instead of us just buying it from China. So again, the solution that we found in order to slow down China is basically not to buy from China. I'm repeating this because this one is like a hard one for me to even go past. I don't know why we stop in China. Somebody can tell me that. And if we stop in China in this race, we want to slow China down in this race so that somebody else can win, finish first. Who is that person that we want to finish first? And once we figure that person that we want to finish first, then let's figure out a way to stop China. So here's the solution. Let's not buy anything from China, but let's buy it from people that are manufacturing it in China. people who are still giving money to China, let's buy it from them. And those people, then we don't know if they're actually Chinese as well, because Chinese are not only in China, and Chinese having the money that they have, then they could also open, they could have brand. I don't know if this brand is not Chinese. This brand, when you Google it, it says it's American or UK or somewhere, right? But who's to say that the person that owns it is not Chinese? So then I could buy this toothbrush and rest assured that it's not, I'm not putting money in the Chinese hand. But yet the company here, even though it could be American or wherever else, but it could still be owned by Chinese. On that note, my people, good night, good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Whatever time you got, salute. And we'll keep this conversation going. How do I get off? How do I get off? This is how I get off.